All right, guys, it's time for me to come clean. I have a problem. I like watching ASMR. Not to clarify, not the weird whispering kind, but
I've never done this before. It's my first time.
there's something about watching someone else get like a neck or shoulder massage that I feel like I'm getting it too. And so sometimes at night I'll watch those or scratching or something. And I think that's okay. I think that's appropriate. One thing I recently started getting into a little bit was I have some back pain, and watching these guys in India who do like crazy street massages, and it kind of went to like back cracking and things like that. And so lo and behold, I discovered the wonderful world of back cracking YouTubers, and it's become this amazing cesspool of chiropractors who upload hilarious videos of them borderline killing or attempting to murder their own patients with these crazy moves. One's called the Y strap, this one guy calls it, and then another guy has what's called the ring dinger. And it's basically he just is trying to yank your head out of your spinal cord, like some medieval torture. It's supposed to release all your pent up stress and negative energy. So there you go. To me, it just looks kind of like a WWE WrestleMania move, but to each his own. I think the interesting thing about these chiropractors is their marketing. They're pretty smart. It's transitioned from ASMR, grabbing people who are coming at it from that lane, people who want to kind of get that secondhand backcracking experience for them, because there's something satisfying about that. I'd put it in the same category of those people who like watching pimples be popped, which I think's disgusting, but there's something satisfying about that apparently, which I think is very strange. And I think it's in that same vein of satisfaction for alleviating or removing something. In the pimples case, it would be the removing of the whitehead, and the back cracking would be the expelling of that air between your vertebrae or whatever. It's like, okay, so you get all these ASMR people come flooding in looking for that, and dang it, these guys are brilliant. It's now morphed into kind of a thirst trap hook. That's how they grab you. Now it's becoming a thing where it's just every single thumbnail is like some chick's ass just hanging out in yoga pants and a dude adjusting her lower back. It's pretty ridiculous at this point. Between the medieval torture and the softcore fondling, they've managed to make quite a lucrative business uploading this to YouTube. So I wonder what the clientele restrictions like. They only take like Instagram model worthy people. I'd like to talk about 3 different chiropractors and the wonderful world of chiropractor beef. So the first one's Dr. Joseph Cipriano. This is, I think, the main culprit for the thirsty booty thumbnails on his YouTube channel. And what's crazy is he has this Y-strap medieval torture device that yanks people's spinal cord. And it's funny because most of them can't even get out of the table once they're done with it. And that's a little too much for me. I like seeing the back cracking. But, I mean, just looking at these videos, like, this guy's taking them on a journey. Call my man a baker because he's handling some cake, let's be real. Jesus. But I think it's interesting to notice that they always talk about how they're doing a specific treatment, and they'll do a really good job of making it sound like it's medical advice. Well, do you have any past experience with shoulder pain or upper neck pain? And, oh, did you have an injury here? Okay, so we're going to tailor this adjustment to your needs.
I just found out, I probably had it almost 30 years. I just was diagnosed with something called Sherman's disease, which is a form of hyperkyphosis. I just found out I have an 85-degree curve in my back, and then I have a lordotic, is that what it's called, curve as well. That's pretty substantial. So just a lot of pain. Oh my God.
And I've watched enough of these videos to confirm that regardless of what specific ailment, they still just go down the standard list of neck, back, pop, pull your little fingers and toes, and
Oh my God.
do a little move here, and it's like, okay, there you go, your tailored back cracking that I did the exact same thing to everyone who's come in this office before you. And that's why I think it's kind of hokey. I feel like they really study the vocab of chiropractic, spinal anatomy, and they just throw in like a ton of jargon. That's probably true. They probably know their stuff.
This is the most common problem in the world, is head is forward, and that causes increased stress and strain to the rest of the biomechanics of the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. It makes your muscles, disc, and ligaments work out harder just to hold your head up in gravity all the time. That's the indicative SI joint problem, which he has right there. Lumbar spine out right here. His pelvis is translated to the left, so he's got a little bit of a thoracolumbar curvature and lumbar curve down here, scoliosis. So I'm going to put him in a mirror image of that biomechanics and adjust his SI joint first.
But you can tell it's kind of a chip on their shoulder thing, where they try to, like a kid trying to sound really smart, and he read a bunch of books, and so he's quoting things. It's like that. It's not sincere. It's like he's trying to say all these big words to sound professional, to try and justify his craft and his profession. So if I say a bunch of big words that sound scientific and legit, then people take me seriously. The next guy I want to talk about, my man. Oh, he looks like a DC comic book villain. Forehead so shiny you can see your reflection. My man doesn't take any days off. Suspenders or bust. This guy, I think what I like about him is how professional he is. He's got some thirsty booty pics in his thumbnails, but he works with a wide variety of people, and I just gotta give it to this man's drip. I mean, this dude's clean every day with the cufflinks, and it looks like he's meditating. He's not there to play games. He's not there to be taken as unprofessional. He's there to do his job. And if I were to go see any of them, it'd probably be this guy, because, I mean, a guy who puts this much effort into his necktie, he's going to put a good deal of effort into your spine. I mean, I'm just saying. What's the protocol with filming them? I mean, you walk into a room and there's essentially a black leather bench, and he's like, take a seat. And it's some bald guy, and he's wearing a mask in this one too, but some bald guy. I mean, this is like a familiar setup, if you're asking me. But how does that work? Do those people feel comfortable? I mean, it gets kind of weird. It's like, oh, ignore the camera. It's like, I would be a little bit uncomfortable. But I think the reason they're successful with their adjustments is they incorporate a lot of massage therapy elements, so that when you're there, he's like cracking your back, but then he's also doing quite a bit of massaging. So you're still like, wow, this feels really good. It must be working. And so then you leave and you're very aware of like, oh yeah, that was a good trip. I mean, I feel loose. I'm a little sore from my muscle and lactic acid or whatever. And so I think that's where they get you, is when they mix those two genres of physical therapy. But actually, the last guy I want to talk to, Advanced Chiropractic Relief in Houston, Texas. And we've got the king, the Lord himself, of the ring dinger, not to be confused with a finishing move in a belly flop contest or something. This gentleman, I think, is super interesting because he initiated the whole medieval torture in the YouTube chiropractic world, and another chiropractor has beef with him. I can't remember his name, but I'll put his channel up here. And they have a really delicious petty argument back and forth where Ring Dinger Dude calls him out after a video was released criticizing his techniques.
What the Ring Dinger is doing is tractioning the cervical vertebrae, like so, doing it very quickly, and what it's doing is creating a gap and a space between what we call the intervertebral foramen, the hole where the nerve comes out of. It's also gapping the occiput, and while it may be very beneficial and very helpful to some people, I've even experienced it myself before when I was in chiropractic college and I had somebody do it to me. The reason I don't do it, it's not that it's not a good adjustment, it's actually a non-specific manipulation, and everything I do is a specific adjustment. So
the gloves are off. My man just called it a non-specific manipulation. Called out in the world of chiropractics. That's quite a hefty insult. But at least he's talking with some decorum and is being polite. I don't know.
But it's the specific chiropractic adjustment that corrects the subluxation, puts the spine back into alignment, allows the brain and body to communicate together. And that is a chiropractic adjustment.
and it gets really petty quick, which is extremely hilarious, and I'm a big fan.
Hi, this is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, and on Fridays and Saturdays, I usually get up between 5 and 5:30 a.m. to make my 8:30 tea time at our country club. And I came across this video from some guy called Dr. Jason, and he goes, "What is a ring dinger?" I found that really interesting because I want you to listen to the video. First of all, he's titling his video, "What is a ring dinger?" but he had to look it up to see what it is. And now he's trying to tell you what a ring dinger is, but he doesn't actually do ring dingers. Yeah, he don't do ring dingers, but he's saying, what is a ring dinger? Now, I don't know this guy from Adam, Dr. Jason or Dr. J. Berg or whatever his name is. I don't even know him. I have no disparaging remarks to say about him, except he shouldn't be saying what is a ring dinger when he doesn't even do them. Okay, he uses the word specificity or specific a lot in his video. If he's saying it's non-specific, but he just explained the specificity of it while ago. I'm opening up the disc and creating a wider IVF, intervertebral foramina, for the nerve to come out off of the spinal cord. See, this is spinal tape. And I'm specifically going to show you what I think of this video. So anyway, this is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, and I specifically will do that video for you, specifically about this guy's video on me. We'll talk to y'all soon.
It's just funny because they're both in kind of a hokey profession, yet they're arguing amongst themselves. I wonder if they constantly live in the shadow of not being a real doctor, and that bothers them. If you really believe in what you're doing and you see some other guy in your same profession doing stuff like this, and you want to separate yourself from him, you too are lumped into that inferior form of medicine. It's just hilarious to see how they handle each other and communicate. It's like a colony of rats fighting over garbage in an alley somewhere. So yeah, guys, just tell me what you think. It's really interesting stuff, and check out some of these channels too. It's just funny to see how they've evolved over the years since I've been a part of the community. And one thing I've learned is I will always take a nice massage over a chiropractic adjustment. So with that information, with that being said, y'all have a good day. Take care.